Hello everybody, welcome. You have made it to the final module of CFS205. We have successfully completed the lifespan, which we wrapped up in Module 6 when we focused on death and dying. This week you are now going to focus inward on what you have learned and how you are going to be able to apply that to your life. So this week looks a little different. We do not have an RGO, we do not have a multimedia discussion, and we don't really have a module-related assignment. But we do have other things. So we are going to focus on our personal scrapbook of my lifespan in development. I recently updated the title, so if you looked previously, it may have said my personal timeline, but I didn't feel like that was a descriptive title. So I did update it. It's personal scrapbook of my lifespan and development. And what it looks like is this. You have learned about various theories of human development throughout our course. We started with prenatal development, and we had theories all the way woven through until death and dying. Some theorists and theories that we took a look at were Piaget's theory of cognitive development. We took a look at Freud's theory of psychosexual development, Vygotsky's social cultural theory of cognitive development, Erikson's theory of human development. Erikson was almost noted in almost every single module. Many of you focused on Erikson for your very first module-related assignment all the way back in Module 1, and you may have noticed that. So we also took a look at Bronfenbrenner's ecological system model, as well as Kubler-Ross's stages of loss. So your assignment is to create a timeline or a scrapbook that outlines the events of your life and your life to come, and then put it into a virtual scrapbook. So, how are you going to do this? First, think about what you've learned throughout our course. How do you think this played out in your life so far? We did get a nice start because your birth story got you thinking and got you talking about your prenatal development for many of you, not everybody, as well as your personal birth. So you may have been thinking about it. How do you think it will play out in the future? So this is going to take you all the way through the end of life. So I realize that there's going to be a lot of future casting, but that's okay to do in this class. Put together a virtual scrapbook on your life as it has happened so far and how you are going to imagine it. So the scrapbook in this case should be a PowerPoint or a Google slide. If you are really crafty and you have the time and you really want to do a actual scrapbook and take pictures of it and upload it, feel free. But I am completely fine with a digital scrapbook done in PowerPoint or Google slide. If you choose to do the crafty version, just let me know ahead of time, and just know that you should get started right away because it could be pretty time consuming. So in your assignment, slide number 1 will be your title page. Decorate the page and be creative and use pictures. Number 2 is the second slide is your prenatal and birth. If you did your birth story on your own birth, this should be really easy. If you did not, you don't have to go back and interview anybody, but just try to think of some significance to your prenatal development and your birth. Start with your parents. Who were they? How old were they when you were conceived? Any details about your pregnancy that you feel help shape who you are? As well as where you were born, your particular culture, if that plays a big factor, as well as any brothers or sisters that you may have had at the time and where you fall in the birth order. Anything that was significant about your birth, and if that's impacted your life in any way, you can include that as well. Please try to include pictures. If you don't have any digital images from the internet, are absolutely fine. But if you can make it as personal as possible, we would love that. So all the slides after that will be in this format. Each slide should be titled with a developmental stage in your life, ages 0 to about 85 or 90. So yes, in this particular timeline, you're going to imagine yourself living a very long and lustrous life. You'll break down each slide as a stage of development, just as the module does in our course. So we've got prenatal and birth. I've already explained that. Then we have early childhood. That can be one slide. Middle childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, middle adulthood, late adulthood, / death and dying. In each of the slides, you want to include 2 to 3 significant events that have happened or will happen to you based on what you've learned about that particular span of life, physically, cognitively, and social emotionally as a person. Please go back and use your readings and remind yourself what happens in those various times of development, physically, cognitively, and social emotionally. For the periods of time that you have already lived, this might be a little easier because you can remember, and all of our assignments, all of our RGOs specifically have had you tied in a personal meaning and a personal connection. So my hope is that you have really been taking this class very personally and connecting your personal life to what you've been learning about physical, cognitive, and social emotional development throughout your lifespan. So you just want to use a few sentences about each specific development that was significant to you. You'll want to write this in paragraph form, written in past tense, because that's kind of where we're going here with this assignment. Please use the notes section for this information. It just makes your slides easier to view. You can use the slide for the main bullet points, and then as well as for your digital images and your pictures, but then use the notes section to include the information about your physical, cognitive, and social emotional development in that particular span of development. You'll want to include illustrations. Again, I've mentioned they can be photos. If they're photos of your life, that's awesome. I would love that. As well as pictures cut from magazines or cartoons or any digital image that you can find, as long as you're able to make sure that those are citable and that you're able to actually use those images. And you want to include those on a reference page if you do borrow an image. But if you can use as many personal photos as possible, that would be great. Each slide should be labeled. So with your particular span of development, so if you're doing adolescence, the title should be Adolescence Ages 11 to 17, and then you would give your information. Next, each slide also needs to include the stage of development according to the particular theorist or theory. So, for example, if you're talking about early adulthood, I want you to tie in information about Erickson's or whatever theorist you want to include that would be appropriate theory. So, for example, early adulthood, ages 18 to 29, we focus a lot on intimacy and isolation. So you would just want to make sure that each slide that discusses your span of development in that particular era also has a theorist or theory attached to it in the notes section. So if you feel like in your early adulthood you were really experiencing Erickson's intimacy versus isolation theory, then that's what you would want to include. So for the stages that you have not hit yet, so many of you are in early adulthood or in middle adulthood, we need to predict the future. I know you can't predict the future, but you can imagine it. So I want you to talk about what's going to happen. What will happen to you in your future? What kind of future do you want to create? This is your chance to really dream big and imagine everything. Remember, in Module 5, you interviewed an older adult about aging and what tips that you might take. So think about the tips that you took from your older adult who gave you tips on how to age gracefully, and consider how you might want to live your life. Use the module readings to guide you on living your best life. So absolutely we know that life is unpredictable and unfortunate things will happen. We can't get away from that. We know that. But I really want this to be a positive experience for you. So please keep that to a minimum as you imagine your future. Certainly if you want to say that certain things will happen or come into play, I understand. And if you know, for example, you're predisposed to certain genetic things, you're certainly welcome to go there if you'd like. But do try to keep it as positive as possible, because you do truly create your own future. Please have fun and be creative, and I hope you really enjoy this assignment and can really see how your understanding of the lifespan and the theorists that have helped to understand the lifespan even deeper are helping you live your best life. So once you create this timeline or this scrapbook, you will upload it to Canvas here in this section. And then part 2 is to submit it to the discussion board, and I will jump over to that next. The discussion board is really as if you would be presenting this to the class. So part 2 of the personal scrapbook of my lifespan development assignment, first you created your scrapbook and you submitted it to Canvas. Next you're going to share it with your peers on the discussion board. So attach your assignment to the discussion board so everybody has a chance to view it. And then in your discussion post, respond, make an initial post that reflects your learning and your experience throughout the course and how learning about the stages of human development and human lifespan has led you to a deeper understanding of your own personal journey throughout your lifespan. So there is a lot to discuss. There is a lot that I'm sure you want to just get out there. If you want to explain anything about your assignment, you can. But let's just talk about what this experience was like for you, what meaning have you made from this course, how you're applying it to your life, and of course, how you can apply it to your future. Please make sure to view at least 2 classmates' timelines or classmates' assignments, and then give them some positive and encouraging feedback. Everyone's putting a lot on the line here. We're putting out our personal experiences and our personal futures. So let's really be positive and give our classmates some awesome feedback. We have walked through so much in this class, and I'm excited to see what these scrapbooks are going to be looking like. Finally, this assignment I moved. It was originally due a week earlier, but I moved it up to be due the last week of our class. So this is your schedule for next fall semester. I understand that many of you are not MCC full-time students. A lot of you are coming from universities or taking this class for just particular hours or whatnot. So this is, are you registered for classes in 2020 at MCC? As a current student, you have priorities to sign up for classes next semester. For this assignment, I'd like you to go to the Student Center and take a screenshot of your schedule for here at MCC for next semester. This ensures that that your name and class schedule are part of, please ensure that your name and class schedule are part of the assignment. But I understand this may not pertain to you. So if you are not taking classes here at MCC next semester, or if you're graduating, or if you're just a student at ASU or U of A or NAU and you're taking this class just this summer, just put in the, just submit a Professor Georgia, I will be attending ASU next semester. You do not need to submit your ASU schedule or whatever university you're in, only if you are an MCC student. This is also to get you thinking about next semester because we have had so much going on lately, you may have not thought about it. So I hope this gives you the time to really think, oh, I need to register for fall because yes, we are running fall semester and yes, many of courses are online and that's great. And so I want you to be thinking about fall because it will be here before you know it. All right, everybody, that absolutely wraps up our course. We are done. Once you have submitted your scrapbook, you have submitted your discussion board, and you've responded to 2 peers, and you completed your class schedule for the fall, or at least let me know what you're doing fall 2020. If you have any questions about your assignment, you want to talk further, please email me through Canvas. You know that I am here for you always, and I have really enjoyed working with all of you this summer. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you all the absolute best in your fall semester and the remainder of your summer. I hope you guys do get a chance to enjoy yourself a little bit. All right, guys, I send you all the best, and I'm looking forward to your personal scrapbooks. Bye!